So thank you, Kina, and everyone, thanks for coming today. This is a great organization, and I regularly attend the meetings upstate because I actually live north of that dreaded canal that everyone's always talking about. So my name's Nathaneckel. I'm with DelawareLeadership.com, and I am really passionate not just about leadership, but growth and potential. And we have a great opportunity right here in the state to really up-level leadership and economics and impact. But that all starts with up-leveling ourselves and our potential. Because the first person and the hardest person that we all have to lead is really ourselves. So why am I so passionate about this? Well, I've been friends and even business partners with someone that, how many big-time readers do we have here? I know we got students, so you have to read, but you know, how many people like to read even when you're not being assigned a couple of people? Well, if you go into the leadership section of your Barnes and Nobles or your Books A Million or whatever you have, you may have seen a shelf by this guy. He's the #1 leadership expert in the world, John Maxwell. And I have been a founding member with his team for the last 5 years. As a result of that, I had the opportunity to train with him most recently in Paraguay and a couple of years ago, about 3 years ago now, in Guatemala, and really found it to be a pretty impactful experience and have chronicled some stories. And this just happens to be the Paraguay person who made it happen in Paraguay. So all that to say, I've been going all over the world training and transforming, and also some trips to Europe and having some fun over there. And it just kind of hit me about, I guess it was about 4 or 5 months ago, coming back home to Delaware again, and smack in the face. It happens every time I come back. I read the front page of the paper, and what's happening? We're losing more jobs. And they're not the jobs at the lower end of the economic scale, it's the jobs at the higher end of the economic scale. And we're in a thought economy, and even if you own a lavender farm, and even if you're doing agriculture, and even if you're doing things that are more traditionally blue collar or white collar, I don't even know if it means anything anymore, because we're all using our brain to get ahead. So how do we do that? Well, it really starts with ourselves. Make sense so far? So how do we do it? What's the mission? Well, our mission is to really come together and really partner together with this. And the question that I always get asked whenever I do a 1 Million Cups presentation is, they say, Nathan, be sure to tell the audience what they can do to help you. So I'm going to tell you right now, what you can do to help me is spread the word about what we're doing. Because I have an entire team of other Delaware-based certified John Maxwell authors and speakers and coaches, and not all of them are authors, but we're speakers and coaches and consultants. We have something that Ben Franklin started up in Philadelphia called a junto, which was really a modern-day mastermind group that, Think and Grow Rich and Napoleon Hill and some of these people talk about. That's one of the ways that we're able to generate business as a real business. But before any of that, the real offer to Delaware that I should probably get to the point about is, I have this crazy, big, hairy, audacious goal, and I'm really behind. Because by the end of this year, with the help of people that I impact, I am going to, with this team, impact 100 of the 6,500 Delaware organizations with a free leadership training. Just like this one, except it's not going to be 6 minutes. It's going to be about 40, 45 minutes. And then there's going to be the business piece of it is afterwards, if the people who are there answer this card, and I've got the card here. They answer this card. If most of them answer yes, then I have a talk with the person that brought me in. It's all completely voluntary, and budgets are up, budgets are down. Regardless of the budget, if the people indicate that they're open to change and grow and making a difference, the number one thing that is when you are leading an organization, when you're managing people, what's the number one issue? It's their willingness to change and grow and work together and not be disengaged or actively disengaged, but actually engaged together. If people indicate that willingness, then I'm going to put a program together regardless of the budget for that organization so that we can up-level ourselves. Because anybody that is in leadership, or I'm not even talking, management is really leadership, right? If you're just wearing a title, that went out with the 80s. So we all know if you're managing people, you're really a leader, and the most challenging thing to do is to connect and get the buy-in with the people so that you can all start going through those teamwork stages of, forming and norming and performing and really getting into a high-performance state. So regardless of what the current resources are, I and my team, we're going to bring it. Let me talk about a little bit more of the business model, and then I'll take any questions. And number one, like I mentioned, is a mastermind group, and that is looking at one of John Maxwell's books, such as this one, this is Spanish because I was training in Paraguay about it, but this is Intentional Living, his most recent book. He wrote it based on his experience in Paraguay. I was there with him. I got to see him process over a period of years. Pretty amazing stuff. We go through and we study a book, and I just simply lead and I facilitate and I coach a little bit, and it allows people to not just buy a book and read it themselves, but interact with other people, have their limiting belief challenged, and grow and develop from there. Another thing we do are more workshops. Another thing that we do are lunch and learns, which are these types of workshops. Another thing that we do are roundtables or executive coaching. So there are several different models of business to be able to make that work. So in closing, want to invite all of you to consider the offer. I live above the canal, but I am going to serve the entire state with my team. And if you want to make contact with me, you can go to DelawareLeadership.com. You can even apply if you're on a board or you have an organization or you know anyone who does. If you want to do something even more recent than that, you can take that card, turn it over, write your name and phone number, and I will contact you. So thank you so much, Kina, and we'll open it up for questions.
Very good. We'd like that. Questions, comments? Who would like to start?
Tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure. And 6 minutes, I left that part out. So my name's Nathaneckel. My background is actually classical music, of all things. And about 10 years ago, completely retooled, went back to college, got a master's in instructional design, actually taught it for about 3 years up at LaSalle University. And one of the things that got me in the door, wrote a book on it. This is different business that I've presented on in other presentations. This is ATD, Association for Talent Development, it's called now. Little white paper I did with them. And so that's my background, and I see that, I perceive that everybody, no matter what audience I get through, they have one of three challenges, if not all three. Number one, it's a leadership headache. Number two, it might be a communication headache, which is, a leadership headache too. Number three, it's a knowledge management headache. And I used to lead with that third piece, and now instead I realize a whole lot more people are having leadership headaches, communication headaches on the job, and so I'm retweaking that. But that's the other piece that I do that I'm not really talking about in the 6 minutes. So.
How do you structure your fee for doing this for us?
Sure, great question. So my fee structure is probably shouldn't say this on camera, but it's like any consultant, it's fluid. I'm more concerned, number one, I'm most concerned that people and organizations and companies, because ultimately this is for companies, it's going to scale according to that. But the number one principle really for growth and for all of us is if people don't pay for something, they don't value it. in this culture. So everyone has to pay something. If an organization comes to me and says, Nathan, we're absolutely strapped, we have to wait until third quarter next year, whatever, I can do a program that allows people to opt in and actually get access to some of my training audios on the phone, and I do that every month for free for people. So I kind of break my own rule, but I'm not active to take Q&A on that call. So there's a little bit of an upsell built in. There's always an upsell, mainly because I've had people pay my day fee in my other company to come and fly in and sit with me and extract their programs and products. And when they pay my mid four-figure day fee, oh my gosh, they're ready to go. We get a lot done. When I try to help someone else for nothing, it doesn't seem to work as well. So it's a strange little cultural thing. Things are fluid, but that's the idea, so that we can determine, and really other people can volunteer what's it worth to them, and during the life cycle of a client or an organization or company, I'm doing all kinds of different things to be able to condition them and expose them to other elements to be able to raise their tolerance for not just paying me, but getting paid more themselves. Because that's the way that we grow, and that's the headache that I saw on the front page of the paper that revealed the challenge and why I'm answering the call.
Did I understand you're structured around, what, a 45-minute to an hour?
Well, the workshop, the Delaware leadership offer is free. So I get my foot in the door by working with other people who invite me in. That's completely free. I give out the card, and if people say, no, this isn't going to add value to me, I'm probably not going to pursue that too heavily. And I'm going to throw out things like, and I don't remember this right now, but I believe if you text leader to 33444, you get on my mailing list, and I'll send you stuff, and that's irregardless of what the organization does or doesn't do. So I can work, corporately with the organization or not, and I'm also being able to ethically seed opportunities for people to follow me and get additional resources. And I've actually made the investment to get the resources and the tools to be able to do this. But on that first level, what I want to do is gain a whole lot of trust with people so that they know I'm sincere. And I do that by distancing my live self, but also delivering an awful lot of value via a live but pre-recorded lesson on the phone every month.
Thank you.
When did you start DelawareLeadership.com?
Very recently. So really only a couple of months ago. I thought about the need, I thought about the challenge. I mean, we all agree on the challenge, correct? So we're all, the best jobs are being lost. It's happening everywhere. Shouldn't happen here. I mean, this is where the vice president's from. This is a great state. We only have 3 counties. I mean, this is so easy to get a license registration or renewal in the state. So I just thought, hey, this is so unacceptable. I mean, I used to live in Philadelphia, so I mean, it's a little more challenging in some of the more urban centers. This is a great state. This state really takes care of itself. And so I thought about it for a month or two, formed the organization, formed the domain name. In case you're wondering, I'll just answer a question. This is not a nonprofit. The life cycle and the grant writing and all that stuff, it kind of defeats the purpose if the organization, if the company, if the individual people aren't soon investing in themselves and finding value in it. So it's not based on a nonprofit model, but the function of it certainly is altruistic.
So if I'm a small company, and let's say maybe I have 5 in my management tier, and I had you come to present to our company or do a workshop or whatever structure, and I wanted to get the most bang for my buck and wanted to include all my employees. Is that possible? What kind of thing would you do with that?
Keena, if you're the decision maker, and you want to put me in front of 100 people, that's fine. I'm more concerned with delivering and over-delivering on the expectation. And we would certainly, there would be a little bit of a, onboarding isn't the right word, but I do a little bit of a needs assessment, a little bit, maybe a 20-minute phone call with you well before, find out what I need to do to be able to deliver on that initial piece. And then after it's done, find out what people think, and then you and I talk about it, and whatever we can do to serve your biggest, get rid of your headaches or mitigate the headache. I mean, I want to be aspirin for organizations. Whatever I can do for that, we carve out a plan to do that, and I would write up a proposal in response to what you say you need, and then we'd move on from there.
Very good. I saw a hand come up.
Hi.
Hi.
What is your target audience? I mean, your target customer,
Yes.
is it small business,
Yep.
medium business?
Yep. The beautiful thing about this, unlike my other business, it basically, like I said a few minutes ago, everybody has 3 headaches that they may or may not be aware of. Everybody has a leadership headache. Either they're part of the leadership headache or they believe that it's the leaders above them. And what I do is I help them understand you've got to lead yourself first and be a good team player. It could be a communication headache, or it could be a knowledge management headache. So that really makes potentially everybody a customer, but on the same token, it doesn't, because not everybody's open to grow. I mean, we're teachers here, we're students here, we're seeing this all day long. I'm a former faculty. Some students want to really grow. Some people really want to grow. Some teachers and faculty really want to grow, and some are have other things and have other issues going on. And it's not that some are growth people and some aren't. It may be circumstantial. So to answer your question very very succinctly, it's the people that are really ready to grow, people that are feeling the pain and aware of the pain in their life that they're getting, because they're not doing the certain things in the certain way that they need to get the results that they say that they want.
At the beginning of your presentation, you referred to 165. What is that?
165.
Yes. You said that you're going to cover about 100 companies out of 165.
Yes, my mission by the end of the year, with the participation and cooperation and help from everybody that I'm able to reach, is to go into 100 Delaware organizations. There are 6,500 Delaware nonprofit. I went to the library and I looked it up. There are 6,500 Delaware organizations. I can only hit 100 this year, and actually I only have half a year left. I only have about 4 months left, and I'm not going to do this in December because of the weather and holidays. So we got to get moving. But that's where there's 6,500 organizations in Delaware.
Okay, my last question. You started your presentation mentioning that every day we're losing jobs. So basically, businesses struggling to go through and to survive another day. How do you address that? How do you explain them? Okay, now you need to throw some cash in this.
Yes, and that's where did I put this? My friend John Maxwell has written about 100 books filled with principles and bullet points and outlines and all kinds of nice little devices and easy to remember sayings and leadership laws. Address that. I mean, you could take the rest of your life to really dig into the 100 books that this guy wrote. So I have access to be able to teach on several of his books, not all of his books, but about 5 or 6 of them. And in addition to that, I've got my own stuff. And in addition to that, I could even work with the experts in the places that I go to help them create their own curriculums too. So there's no shortage of solutions where that comes from.
As a former business owner for many, many years, if I tell you how long, then I get embarrassed, because then you'll know how old I really am. One of the things that helped my company a lot, or helped me with my company and to grow, was that Mastermind Group. You mentioned that, and believe it or not, we do have some entrepreneurs here in the audience. So could you tell us a little bit more about that? Is that something
Sure.
that
Absolutely.
would be applicable to them?
It certainly is. So usually what I start people out on, John Maxwell's first breakout book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. You learn laws like the law of the lid, the law of influence, the law of victory, the law of explosive growth. All of these laws indicate keys. They're really keys, and you live your life by these laws, and other people will follow you. You live your business by these laws. You change and you run your business by these laws, and the customers are going to start lining up because you're leading and you're adding value to people. So where the Mastermind Group comes in is, I mentioned everybody can, go listen to a recording, I don't tell them it's a recording, but they show up and it's a recording. They figure it out. If they want to really get more value, they're going to need to invest. Because the last thing that I want to do is put mastermind participants in who have invested money and are ready to go. It's like it's not like a classroom because you don't get to do that in the class. I forget. But the last thing you want to do in business is have people that have invested and other people that haven't invested, and you've got a differing level of interest. So everybody invests. I take them through the laws. Actually, what I didn't mention is we always do some kind of an outdoor adventure at the end. So maybe we go to the zip lining course up north of Dover a little bit, or we go sailboats together, or we do horseback riding, or we do some kind of experiential thing at the end of the study. And then there's an opportunity to jump into the next one. And people can, opt in, they can opt out, they can take a break, whatever it is. But the Mastermind Group is a very, very powerful way, because in the Mastermind Group, if you're convening the group, you get people going. You have to facilitate, and then they interact with each other. And then if you're a good facilitator, what do? You just back off and let them add value. And the more you let them facilitate, add value to each other, the more they get to grow, and the better you look, because you're just in the background. So the Mastermind Group, can't say enough about it. It's extremely powerful, and that's one of the most popular ways for people to grow.
Very good. Other questions, comments? Wow. Well, very good. Well, we thank you. Usually
Thank you,
our
Peter.
last question is, what can we as a community do for you? I think you made that abundantly
I
clear,
hope
but
so,
I want to give
'cause
you another opportunity.
Yeah, so DelawareLeadership.com. Folks, I'm not going to be able to do this without everybody's help. I tell this to everybody, so don't feel bad. But DelawareLeadership.com, organization, it might be a faith group, it might be a nonprofit. I'm doing a couple of Kiwanis clubs later on today. For-profit companies all come in. It's the same deal. I'm not going to charge them for a lunch and learn or a workshop or a presentation. It's the same offer, no matter whether it's for-profit, nonprofit, whatever. So that's what you can do for me, and let's change and transform Delaware for the better.
Well, very good. Thank you.